right. All right. All right. Good morning. Good morning if you are in the morning time. If you're not in the morning time, I don't know what time you're at, and that's okay. Hello. Lovely day to you. So, oh, I got my cups. I got my cups. Gurgle. I've been spitting all morning. Gurgle my crystal bills. I got my stuff in. Anyways, so I'm live both on YouTube and Insta. I'm live on both. If you are on Insta and you would like me to be fully aware of your commenting, please do join me on YouTube. I just commented the link. Right now, we're going to be doing an update on that wolf moon energy. Today is the wolf moon lunar eclipse. Energies are shifting massively. And I thought I was just going to chill, but apparently I'm going live. Apparently. I'm not bitter. I'm just saying that. You know, I do as Soul says, and Soul said go live. We got to talk about this shifting going on. So this wolf moon is said to be the most important moon of the year. I don't know the validity of that. It's definitely ending. We're going to be ending or have already ended. I don't know. But it's a 5-month retrograde of, I believe, Uranus, your anus. And there's a lot of things that's, can you guys see the cards? Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of things that's been going on for most of us, a lot of shifting of energies, a lot of ending of cycles, releasing, letting go. It's time to let go and move forward, basically. That's kind of the, oh, shit. Shasha. Damn it. Because heaven forbid I be on my A game and be like everyone else. I just shuffled 2 different decks together. It's fine. It'll be okay. Which is what I always tell myself anyways. It's fine. It's not that bad. It'll be okay. It's fine. So let me just keep shuffling. So what I'm getting is that there's going to be a huge shift for everyone, even larger than what we have anticipated. This shift is something that's going to be very much in alignment with the purging of energies that's necessary. All right. I'm told the bottom of the deck. Some more. I'm trying out this new shuffling. Let me see if I can do it. It's like super sexy. It's muy sexy. Let's go ahead. All right. Oh, why did I do that again? All right. Well, that deck has 2. Let's pull from. I'm told. Where is the deck? This is the deck. Yeah, this is the deck. This deck has always made my butt pucker. I don't know. The messages that come from this deck are always something that's like, no, I don't want that. Okay, but it's not about what you want, girl. It's about the messages. All right. We're almost done, I promise. One more deck. To this one. All right. Ooh, okay. So how's everyone feeling today, by the way? Are y'all feeling the energy already? Are you guys already feeling the stuff? The intense stuff? One more. Sometimes when I shuffle like that, I feel like I'm ready to hustle ya. Just like that. So you're feeling drained. Someone's been buzzing all night, feeling sleepy. All right. We're ready. We're ready. Okay. Let me just satisfy my OCD. Get that. Okay. So let's see. All right. So here's the thing. You all didn't see that. You guys didn't see that face that I made. Okay. Anyways, okay. I was gonna shut off both lives. Let me just situate my emotional state. Hold on. I was gonna shut off both lives. Okay. So here's the first card. With this card, this tells me that there was a lot of communication that kind of fell through. Everything was turned on its head for a period of time. This involves another person. And this involves another person. And it's almost as though the sense that I get is there is a reconnection that's wanting to be established. I kind of have this personal feeling of, yeah, full moon energy in Cancer. Yeah, don't be getting all emotional with the Cancer stuff. Just allow it to right down your back and away from you. Just right down your back and away from you. Where'd you go? Okay. My lover man is home. So card number 4, against the grain. You have been swimming in your own waters, naked in your own truth for some time now. And for some people, that's a very uncomfortable thing for them. Very, very uncomfortable thing. And they want to continue to take ownership of you and your identity. They want you to stay within the box. Okay. They're like, mine. The seagulls off Finding Nemo. That's what I think of every time I see this card pop up. So keep swimming in your truth and stay naked, go against the grain. You're going to irritate a few people, but they need to be irritated. Your existence irritates their demons. Moving forward. Card number 8. 4. Card number 8. Okay, card number 8, Chiron, healing. So basically the feminine aspects of either that connection or the feminine aspects within yourself are going to help the wounded masculine within you or within them. It doesn't really matter. It's just a healing is needing to take place. Okay, healing on a very, very deep level. So this has to do with healing of consciousness, their thoughts or your thoughts about a particular circumstance. For some, it might be tied to this soul connection where there was a kind of, because this came out upside down. So it was kind of like a falling out of sorts, some event or miscommunication that led to the ending of that communication. It's wanting to be reestablished. Block it. I'm in some kind of way today. So we have card number 4, and then we have card number 8. And then the next card is card number 48, Destiny. Yod. Destiny. So this is a part of your healing path. That can be any kind of connection. I'm going to be rebellious. Ooh, 65% at 848. That's what I'm saying. So this can be about any connection. It doesn't, we're going to steer away from the whole twin bullshit today, every day. We're going to steer away from that. This can be about any relationship, connection with another person. This is a very deep connection. We're not going to confine it to that TS, twin shit. So it's your destiny to begin actually healing, allowing yourself to heal, allowing all these aspects of yourself to heal. And if it needs to heal separately from another individual, then so be it. It has to be separate from another individual. We're letting go of this need to associate our happiness and our success and our healing with something external from us. Okay. You can absolutely heal without someone else there. All right. So, card number 3, Sleeping Beauty's Dream. This is about understanding, you know, your I don't want to see you. Many of us are in a dream state of, if only this, if only that, if I only made more money, if I only had a better job, if I only had someone who loved me like a twin, if I only had, no more of that. Because all you're doing is putting yourself in a gilded cage. Okay. It's a fortified mental fortress. And not only are you in something that is heavily fortified, y'all got all this. Yeah, that's starting to look like my hair. That is starting to look like my hair. So, you have to steer clear of this. All right. This idea that if only, if only, if only. No, now is the time. Card number 3. And notice this, a repeating of numbers. Again, you guys, I want to remind you that when the numbers keep repeating like this, that's a amplified message. This is something we really, really need to take into consideration, see how it fits into our journey as we know it currently, and really learn something from it. And when I say learn something from it, it's not that I'm teaching you, it's that I am triggering the thoughts that will lead you to your conclusions, because everyone's interpretation of my words are going to be different. And that's how it should be, because everyone's circumstance is unique to them. So whatever I read, you still have to interpret it for yourself. You have to see how it fits into your journey. So, repeating again. All right. So here goes. You've been given quite a bit of information and energy over the past decade, okay? Over the past decade. For many of us, the events of the past decade, sorry, my bra is fighting my shirt. For many, I'm like, girl, no, stay in there. For many of us, this past decade has been one of tremendous growth, okay? For even more of us, for most of us, this past year has been one of tremendous, tremendous challenges and growth and hurt and confusion and shifting. Like every aspect of our lives have been changing over this past, even just this past winter, even just this past fall. It's been really, really intense changes. Well, but here's the thing. I think what we're failing to realize is every day our life is changing. Every single day. It hasn't just been this past month, this past 6 months, this past year, this past 10 years. Every single day of our life has been changing. The difference is we are feeling these changes in a much more visceral and cognitive way because our consciousness is rising. It's rising from its slumber. And so we're becoming more aware of the more subtle changes. And those subtle changes are becoming something very, very prominent to us. Because guess what? We are shedding the layers that have kept us insulated from even noticing changes were occurring. With the environment, social, emotional, global, political, all of these environments that we exist within, like nested within each other, kind of like Russian nesting dolls, they're all nested within each other. And each layer of that nesting creates an additional layer of density that truth has to filter through. And I guess what's happening lately is that all the layers of the dolls are being stripped away. Okay. It's being stripped away. And so as we're stripping all of those things away, more of our truth is rising to the surface for us to notice. And as more of our truth rises for us to notice, we're beginning to recognize we have this big ass bowl of truth that needs to just be let loose for other people to see, for other people to witness, and free them in such a way to be able to decide what they're going to do with that truth that you're sharing. That's all you can really do. Because when it comes to spiritual growth, when it comes to ascension, there is no definitive way to do this properly, to do this the right way. There is no right way. There's no meditation. There's no practice. There's no program that's the right way for everyone. And if you run into someone who's saying that, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong and you have to do it this way, the fact that you're so restricted in your thinking and you're so demanding in your expectations of me and my organic path tells me that it's not in alignment with my growth. If it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate with you. And they're going to have to be okay with it, just like you're going to have to be okay with it. Okay? You have to begin steering clear of this want and need to do spirituality by numbers so that other people will see that you're spiritual. That's one of the massive traps of 2019. Spirituality really boomed, and the industry, it is an industry. Let's get very honest. Spiritualism is an industry just like any other industry. And so there's been a lot of people who started with pure spiritual intention, and then you give them an audience, some sort of platform, and it becomes something that's more about, okay, number crunching. How many more viewers can I get today? How can I expand? And that's not necessarily a bad thing if you can temper it with it being still a soul-based business where that's not the objective. So the point I'm getting at is so many people have lost sight of the original intention, and it's become something where you have to do it this way because this is the way that brings the client. So this is the right way. There is no right way. There's none. There's no right way. Just like there's no wrong way. See how beautiful that is? There's just your way. So this is about you again, going against the grain. Really allowing yourself to swim in your waters however way you want. If you want to wear a full-on wetsuit covering up to your ankles and your wrists, you go do that, boo-boo. You go ahead and do that. If you want to be naked and go in your birthday suit, well, happy birthday to you. You swim however the hell you want. Backstroke, front stroke, frog stroke. What is there a frog stroke? That's the frog stroke. I swear, I'm telling you, I am the smartest space cadet you will ever meet. This is the smartest space cadet you will ever meet. Hashtag that shit. Frog stroke, bitches. You ain't spiritual unless you got the frog medicine. Is there a frog stroke? Don't make me Google this shit, you guys. Woo, okay. Oh, okay. I had to do that for him. He loves it when I do that. Card number 19, dream a beautiful dream. Your sexiness is just so distracting to me. Could you please cover yourself with pillows? Just this man is too much. Card number 9. I think I'm ovulating. No, I'm joking. Don't touch me. Card number 19, dream a beautiful dream. We have enough babies. You're at the epicenter of whatever it is you're creating for yourself. Recognize the power of that, because in the grand scheme of things, if you're at the epicenter, you're basically the rock that's being chucked into the body of water. If you want to be a negative rock, all the ripples that come from that chucking of you into the water is going to be negative. If you're a positive rock, everything within your environment that comes from you, emanates from you, will be a positive. And we really have to adjust our concept of positive and negative. They're simply a charge. It's not, positive is good and negative is evil. Those are human constructs. And if you're going to be doing that healing stuff, you're going to be rising from that limited human belief. You're going to open yourself to the potentiality that maybe there's more to this than what we're being told, more to every experience, more to the definitions that we're given. Maybe it's a time for us, maybe it's a part of our destiny to rewrite the definitions of the words, because really, if you really want to get into the semantics and, you know, all of the, like, the really deep esoteric type things, whenever you speak, whenever you write, you are spelling, you are spell casting, you are bringing to fruition what comes from your mouth. And just like what was written in holy text, holy text, and the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, you know? So we are nothing more than prayers turned into flesh, spoken word made into density. So card number 28, roots. It's time for you to get back down deep into your soil and see where you're rooted. Many of us don't know where we're rooted. Many of us think we're rooted in truth, but in reality, we have been placed in a pot. We're not free range. It's time for you to replant yourself out in nature. Allow the natural order of things. I mean, really though, that's nice that you're in a greenhouse in a controlled environment, but what's it like to not be root bound? You don't know, do you? What's it like to not have fear of your roots being trimmed? What's it like to not need to be pruned, to be able to grow wild and free and just grow? We don't know. We don't know. We've been in a controlled environment our entire lives. And even when you have a chaotic environment for your life, it's still a controlled environment, because there's so many expectations put on you. So many. And it's time for you to begin allowing yourself to experience the truth of who you are. I'm being told something. Oh, shit. I wish you would. I wish you would. So I'm being shown something. Okay, this is what I'm being shown. Okay. So, you know, what did I say? You are the tree, right? There you are as what, I don't know, an infant, an astronaut infant. There you are at the top of your tree. And then we had seen this card earlier, Chiron healing. What she got in her hand? What is that? That can be used as an axe. You better axe somebody. It seems like the feminine energy, not just a woman in your life. I'm talking about the feminine within you, because we have both masculine and feminine energy, regardless of your physiological gender or sexual preference. You have both within you. So maybe it's time to cut down the parts that have, like the dead branches. Maybe it's time. For some of us, it might even include, what is he doing? For some of us, it might even include cutting the tree at the trunk. And if that's the case, you have to understand, just because a tree is cut at the trunk doesn't mean the tree will necessarily die. It has to affect the roots. Maybe this is a call for us to begin seeing and acknowledging the health of our roots. What are you rooted in? What's helping you to stand? Are you even rooted? If a strong gust of wind, and what is wind but spoken word? If a strong gust of wind were to blow in your direction, would you fall over? He's clawing something, fabric. Sorry for the freak out. He's clawing. I heard that shit. I heard that shit. Life is about to claw us. I feel that's the message. What was I saying? Shit. Wind. If wind blows in your direction, will you just fall over? Are you solidly rooted? It doesn't matter how big a tree you are, because if your roots don't go deep, if they're shallow roots and the wind blows, people talking shit about you, you just fall right over. You're gonna topple right over.
Timber.
Yeah, sir, I don't need sound effect. So this is a time for you to begin examining that. As we're purging these energies from the lunar eclipse that's slated for sometime today, you have to really, really become aware of your roots, because this purging process that's occurring, that's what the part of this moon is doing, is purging a whole lot of, card number 51, to the moon and back, to your shadow aspects and back, to your secret closet of skeletons and back. What are you going to find there? You know, maybe this is trying to tell us that even in your darkest moment, if you allow yourself to really embrace this moon aspect of you, in the darkest of night, the moon shines bright. That should be a poem. That's like fucking poetry. In the darkest of night, the moon shines bright. Did I read that somewhere? I don't think so. Those are my words. Quote me. In the darkest of night, the moon shines bright. This is about really allowing yourself to look at the shadow aspects, explore the parts of you that you've kept hidden away. I think that has a lot to do with this as well, because look at all that shadow energy mixed with the crown. This is about really coming, if you take the center point from the crown to the shadow, which is hidden, I guess, somewhere down low, you probably would get solar plexus, which the card right beside it is, the epicenter is yellow. The ripples that come from it is yellow. So it's about your personal power, finding your personal power rooted somewhere in the middle between your shadow and your crown. Shadow and the crown. This is about transformation. Okay, Shakti, allowing that Shakti energy to rise up and help transform you. That's what this energy is for. People are like, oh, that's goddess energy. That's just for women. That's why she got an axe, to get your ass straight. And it's not just an axe. It comes with a stick, poke you from a distance, because it's time for you to allow your feminine energy, that goddess energy, to really, really begin your process of ascension. Okay? Really, really begin it. So Shakti is often associated with Kundalini. Kundalini is not just a sexual energy associated with a sacral chakra. Kundalini serves as a spiritual fuel for that rise. It's not meant to stay active all the time, but it's my guess that this Kundalini that's activating right now, it's a part of the purging process, and it's going to really help to, it's going to really help to usher along that healing. This is intense. Okay, here goes. So many of us, sorry, Michael, we're throwing your ass under the bus, going forward and reverse and forward again. Run them over a few times. So many of us have come to rely on beings outside of ourselves to protect us, to nurture us, to give us the answers that we want and need. This is what's fucked up spirituality. Okay? This really crippling belief that you need to rely on something else outside of yourself in order to connect with yourself. Does that make sense? You need to rely on something outside of yourself to connect with yourself. That just doesn't sound right to me. I forgot what I said. It doesn't sound right to me. I don't know everything though, so it doesn't sound right to me. It's this feeling that I get from this card that, look at that, such complacency, your eyes are shut. Like, okay, tell me what to do. I'll do whatever you say. fuck that. Sorry, Mikey, I don't do what you say. And there's very good reason for that. There is another being. It's not Archangel Michael. It passes itself off as Archangel Michael, and it gives some really shitty information. And many, I want to say all of the people who channel this benevolent Archangel Michael is not channeling the Archangel Michael that I know. If the channeling is giving instruction, telling you how to be a better human being, I don't care how good it sounds, Michael's purpose was never as a messenger. Now, if you had told me you were channeling Gabriel, yeah, it'd be more plausible with that. You know, Gabriel is God's messenger. Michael is God's fucking vigilante. I'm telling you. People are just like, oh, Michael is something. No, Michael is God's vigilante. You do something, God sends Michael to clean it up. That's a cleanup crew. I'm just saying. So now we've approached a part of our growth where this energy that exists, that was spoken into being to be protective and ensure balance is maintained, has been given a role that really was never meant to be filled by this being. And in doing that, as you give all of your power to this Michael being, all of your personal power is blocked from you. And people get so like, I used to get people getting really, really pissed off. Like, how dare you disrespect an archangel? How dare you talk to Michael like that? I say, fuck you to Michael quite often because I'm like, listen, bichacho, you my homie, but you don't tell me what to do because you're nothing but an assistant to God. I have a direct connection to God. So if God wants me to know that I'm being naughty, then God will tell me. Okay. You're supposed to just make sure nothing happens to me as I'm doing this job, because sometimes I block shit out because I don't want to pay attention. Your job is to shield that shit, not tell me what to do. Now, there are times where Archangel Michael, the one that talks to me, I don't channel shit, okay? The one that talks to me will tell me, all right, your higher self is saying this because yo bitch ass ain't listening to her. And that's what it is. Okay. When he gives me messages, it's because I'm blocking my own higher self. I'm working through things. Okay, guys, I'm working through things. Yes. The Archangel Michael that's being channeled is a feeder. It feeds off energy. It feeds off fear. It feeds off compliancy. It feeds. The Archangel Michael that I know doesn't need to feed. He don't tell you what to do. As a matter of fact, every single time that I have asked this Archangel, what should I do? I want to kick someone's ass. I'm so mad. What should I do? And the only thing he ever says to me is, I don't know. What should you do? What do you think you should do? Fucking asshole. I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Why can't you tell me? That's not my job. Because the truth of the true Archangel Michael is that he was created to ensure balance, right? He never does anything that oversteps his bounds. He has a very direct, very clear set of directions that he can't override those. He is 100% submissive to the will of divinity. So as part of divinity, there exist the laws of sovereignty. He cannot violate someone else's sovereignty. And when you tell someone else what to do, you are violating their sovereignty. He can fuck shit up on your behalf, right? He can't tell you what to do. He's not allowed to. And when I try and insist that he tell me what to do, what is the answer? He no longer is allowed to speak. So who are these people channeling? Who are you channeling that you're telling me what to do? That don't make no sense to me. And Michael doesn't refer to people as his children. Because in order to do that, that means you're in an elevated position, right? Right? He doesn't do a hierarchy. If he's not simply just standing there looking the other way, looking for trouble, kind of like, the Secret Service. He's like my Secret Service. He just kind of just looking all around. He's bowed down. He's kneeling on one knee, sword just looking like this, waiting for the command of the divine to tell him what to do. I don't know who the fuck people are channeling, but it ain't Michael. Actually, I do know who they're channeling, and it's not Michael. But this, what we are allowed to participate in, what we allowed ourselves to participate in because of our fear of taking accountability for our own lives and our own decisions, because that's what it's rooted in. We don't want to take accountability. We listen to this being and something gets fucked up. Well, Michael told me to. No, bichacho. A demon told you to and you listened. That's what happened. That's what happened. I'm serious. I had someone telling me years ago, I used to do auctions every weekend for my patented selenite swords. And this person told me that Michael told her that I needed to be destroyed, and that that Michael had been telling her to purchase swords she couldn't afford. Well, why the fuck are you listening to Michael? Is he giving you the money? Is he your pimp? Why are you listening to his ass? You shouldn't be buying shit you can't afford. You know, and then you can't go and blame someone else. That, and it comes down to this. We don't want to take accountability for the decisions we make. We really don't. We really don't. I'm like, you listening to the wrong motherfucker. You take my classes. You don't know that's a fake you're dealing with. Are you kidding me right now? And then they couldn't say anything after that. I was like, I told you the steps. You took my parasitic program. I told you the steps to make sure you are not in the presence of a mimic. And you lapped it up. Look at your face. Like, well, tell me what else to do. Who else can I hurt? Who else can I blame? Michael, don't do that shit. And what's happened, because we don't want to take accountability for our own bullshit, because that's bullshit, okay? You willingly participated in bullshit. And I've had this mimic try and talk to me, tell me shit. I'm like, who the fuck are you? When do you start shot calling shit? Get out of here, demon. Yeah, I know you're not Michael, because Michael don't talk to me like that. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? Accountability. So card number 28, collaborative dreaming. Because of this that we allowed, and it's covered the entirety of the world at this point, what's happened is we are in a state of collaborative dreaming. Are we upside down? Are we not? What's going on? We don't know, because we're pretending to be asleep. And this is the year all of that is being undone. And this is the year, starting with this lunar moon, we're undoing all of that, and it's not going to be allowed to continue, okay? Card number 43, lunar eclipse, change. This lunar eclipse is going to bring change with it, okay? It's going to bring change with it. Now, you have to begin really allowing yourself to use your discernment. You have to allow yourself to give yourself permission to go through all your stages, this waxing and waning. People think that unless they stay full throttle, all the way cranked open, they're somehow not progressing spiritually. That's no. And that's why the whole high vibe culture, subculture is becoming very toxic, because it teaches to just always be full throttle all the time. 88% at 917, 8898, okay? It teaches you to be full throttle all the time. And if you can't maintain that, then you're somehow not spiritual. Look at nature. Is it always summer? Is it always winter? Even in those seasons, is it always sunny in summer? Or are there days where it's cloudy and rainy? In winter, is it always freezing cold? Or are there days where it's warmer? The ocean, is the water always just zooming towards the shore? Does the wind always only blow in one direction? You know, so these concepts that sound spiritual, that appear spiritual, 88% at 918, 8899, things that appear spiritual, definitely you have to question that, see how it fits in. If it tries to force you to conform in just one narrow pathway, chances are it's not something that's going to benefit you in the long run, okay? It's definitely not. Card number 46, night ride. You gonna ride through the night till the wheels fall off. What's that song? Ride till she can't no more. I don't know. It's some country song. I don't like it though. But card number 46, night ride. So you're going to be riding through the night of your memories, things that are hidden in the shadows, in the darkness. Elephants have a very long memory. So do you. You just choose to forget. Let that sink in. Elephants have a very long memory. So do you. You just choose to forget. Now, a lot of this wisdom is going to be coming back. Once you allow yourself to tap into the memories, the wisdom will return. And this is what we're scared of. We're scared of remembering the price that we had to pay to learn what we had to learn. You already paid the price. No refunds. Why don't you just take advantage of what you learned? Why don't you allow it back in? Because you're afraid to process. And it's okay to be afraid to process the events of your life. A lot of us have lived very, very tumultuous, traumatic lives. And there is this very common stigma that unless your life was somehow perfect, you're broken. You're not. You're not. There's a Japanese art form. I forget what it's called. This Japanese art form, whenever their pottery breaks, if it cracks, they repair it with solid gold. What if we took that art form and applied it to our lives, our spiritual journey? That every time you broke, you were refilled with solid gold. And what if it's time for us to acknowledge that those of us who are the most broken could potentially be the most valuable? Because we do live in a very convoluted world where up is down and down is up and right is wrong and wrong is right. So what if that's why they wanted us to vilify, to stigmatize the ones who are the most hurt? Because the ones who are the most hurt, who have been wounded the most by life and life's experiences, are actually the greatest treasures of society, because they have lived firsthand the traumas that many of us struggle through. Look at how we treat elders. Take a look at that. Just take a look at that. You can't work anymore. You can't take care of yourself anymore. Put them in a home. Forget about them. Take a look at that. They're our treasures. They are our treasures. They have lived through events that we only read about. Very skewed written things about events they've lived through. And they don't have a voice anymore. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. And it might be that, I come from a culture that really very much values the elders. You don't put them in a home. I don't give a shit what you need to rearrange with your life. You fucking take care of them at home. Card number 21, home. This is about bringing things home. You yourself are an elder as well. You've just chosen to forget. This is just one of many, many, many lives that you've lived. Just one. You yourself are an elder. Allow that to sink in. Bring that information back home. Go on that night ride to the moon and come back home to yourself. I'm just saying, come back home to yourself. Allow that transformation. Let me get the final cards. How are y'all feeling about this? About this lunar eclipse now? Ooh, I'm having a lunar sound bath later on tonight. This is a private event. You have to register on my website to partake. It will not be on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who's already registered. If you want to register, we're going to be closing that link at 5 p.m. PST. The event is at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So once you register for the event, we will then add you to the list who have access to this live recorded event, and you will be emailed by the platform I'm using. You'll be emailed directly, okay? But yeah, the box office closes at 5. So it's going to be a sound bath paired with binaural beats that was custom created for me for this event. I'll be using crystal singing bowls that have been attuned to the human chakras, the 7 primary. And then I'm also going to be doing group energy work. All you need are some earbuds. If you don't have earbuds, perfectly fine. You can still partake. And if you can't make it to the live event, you can definitely access the recording after it's done. So you don't have to miss out, okay? So one more shuffle. Okay. These cards keep coming up. These cards keep coming up. Can y'all do that? Okay, I used to play piano. Okay, first card, center. You have to allow yourself to recenter in your heart space. Okay, the heart space is a sanctuary of the soul. It is one of the most heavily fortified energetic centers in your body. This is why you consistently experience heartbreak through the entirety of your life. Every time your heart is broken, it is further fortified. Because as the heart breaks, scar tissue is the strongest tissue. So every single time your heart breaks, it is refortified. If you have a life full of heartbreak, your heart is a fortress. Allow yourself to come back home to it. With the lotus in the high heart space, this card is telling me, ooh, 144, I'm just saying. This card is telling me that your heart's ability to self-cleanse has been turned on. If it wasn't already on, it's turning on. It's being activated. And that energy is being carried up to the third eye and the crown space. A lot of activation in the crown space right there. That's also telling me you're going to be receiving quite a bit of information. It's going to be cleansed, just like the lotus is self-cleansing. And this is not about rushing you through your process of self-acceptance. Notice how her face is partially covered. This is to let you know if you're not yet ready to fully show the truth of your identity, because your face is your identity. In this life and in other lives, your face is what you identify with as you. If you're not yet ready to show the truth of who you are, it is okay. Allow certain parts to show, but the totality of you will be revealed when you are ready. Truth and spirituality is not about forcing you to do or be anything other than what you are right now. You will continue to evolve for the rest of your life. You will never stay the same person. You may take longer to go through evolutionary phases. You may take even longer to acknowledge that you've changed. But you change every single day with every interaction that you have. Some people call it mood. It's actually more than mood. Those are swings in your personality, changes, subtle shifts. How many moods do you have a day? Okay. Those are all the changes, the recalibrations that you're experiencing daily. Daily. Allow yourself the freedom to continue to change, to continue to blossom, because that's what your purpose is here, to allow yourself to blossom. Okay, we also have the fortitude card. You are fortified. You are heavily protected. You are heavily, heavily supported. Oh, what? I did not notice this last time. Ooh, wow. This card has so much meaning. As above, so below. Wow. and it's a reflection in your heart. This process will begin in your heart, carried to you as a gift from the other worlds. Your soul tribe, your ancestors, those who are within your soul tribe, they're fully supporting this process. They are fully supporting this process. For many of us, they're going to be coming through on this lunar event. The eclipse it's going to allow them to come through to you and help you to recognize aspects of yourself that you're needing to recognize. Let go of layers that need to be shed because they're not part of your truth anymore. Here's the thing, though. There's going to be a lot of chaotic frequency, a lot of shadow that's going to be utilized by things that are not so savory. And this happens for every type of event. I mean, it would be really foolish of us to think that with the way creation is, with such desire for balance, because balance leads to homeostasis, that creation would be like, no, we're only letting light through because love and light. Creation created love, light, and darkness and despair. It created all of that, okay? Everything that exists for a reason. And we have to drop our fear of shadow aspects. Now, regardless of intention, even the shadow can serve your growth. Not because you're conjuring, not because you're making pacts or deals or, none of that. Because you yourself contain light and dark. You have a shadow aspect. You have a luminous aspect. Both of those combined create the totality of you. Now, if you're going to only choose to exist in one state, which many people have been falsely taught, love and light, much of that love and light teaching is actually false love and artificial light, because that exists as well, right? And if you've never truly experienced real, balanced omni-love, and you've only ever lived in a controlled environment with, LED lights, and you've never been in the sun, you don't know what that is, do you? You don't know the difference in feeling between the sun and an LED light. Is it LED or LCD? Again, I have no shame. I am the smartest space cadet you will ever meet. But they're coming through. Both the positive and the negative are coming through. They're definitely coming through. The strings. Again, going back to the whole Japanese culture, I was made aware not too long ago that there is a belief that some Japanese believe that there is a string, a divine string that connects us to the very people who we need to encounter in this life. It's to ensure that our paths cross, because they carry within them unknowingly pieces of our puzzle. And so we're collecting these pieces. One of the strings is going to come through during this lunar event. And this string is directly connected to the heart. This is a very deep soul connection that's coming through. Magnetism. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have no words for this. I'm choosing to just get the book for this. All right, magnetism. Attraction of opposites, being involved in a situation against better judgment, feeling somehow responsible for something that was out of your control. Generate a positively charged self-image through conscious affirmative action. A petty annoyance builds and may become, that's nice. A petty annoyance builds and may become detrimental to your environment. Deflect irritation with a force field of confidence and charisma. Duality is an illusion. There is another option. So that's the earthly meaning. The spiritual meaning. Love is a magnetic force that extends from the heart of all living things. Love is both protective shield and a powerful attractor. It's at the center of the flow of your life. A word, a thought, a touch is all it takes for love to ignite. When it does ignite, it radiates from your core, stretching out beyond your horizons. Okay. Without movement, there is no magnetism. There was a card of motion. I'm just trying to see. Well, this has to do with magnetism because the insight talks about the North and the South Pole, and how the subatomic particles from the sun are deflected, creating the southern lights as well as the aurora borealis. Without movement, there is no magnetism. The consequences of your actions extend beyond your immediate sphere. The stronger the action, the greater the influence. The more you deny, the more acceptance is wanted. The more acceptance is wanted, the greater the magnetism. The greater the magnetism, the harder to resist. I call bullshit. I call bullshit. Leave me alone is what I call. Yeah. So basically, I think the general message would be that whatever you fight the most is what you're going to bring to you the fastest. And this is going to clear the pathways. And that's going to be sped to you very quickly. You had me read all this shit just to give me that message. Let's just go ahead and pull a couple of these because I want confirmation for you guys. What do you guys need confirmation for? Fast movement. All right. So, 6 of staves. Insta. This video is going to be cutting off in 2 minutes. I just commented the link for my YouTube live stream. If you want to see the last portion of this, head on over to YouTube right now, okay? So, conquest, triumph, good news, advancement, expectation, desires, realized as a result of efforts. So this ties into that whole magnetism. There's been a lot of push and pull, and all of that struggle between the two forces. Whatever this is, whatever this connection is, that movement created a magnetism that can no longer be mitigated. So that's going to come to fruition. As this is beginning to be realized, the inevitable factor of this magnetism being brought back home to you to initiate your transformation in perfect time with your maturity level, emotional and mental maturity, there's going to be quite a bit of resistance. And as that resistance becomes evident, the Chariot card popped up. Adversity possibly already overcome, conflicting influences, vengeance, success, possibly avoid your journey, escape, rushing to a decision. So all of this is kind of like letting you know, whoever this other counterpart is, they're doing their part. whoever this is that you need to have a connection with, they're doing their part to free themselves of the very bondage they created when they listened to something outside of themselves. Okay, Insta's done. Hold on. Okay. So they listened to something outside of themselves, and that is probably what caused the fallout, the disconnect. And whatever that was, it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but it's definitely something that the soul is definitely something. 99% and 939. It's definitely something that the soul, both individuals, they needed this interaction to grow them in a way that only each other could grow them. That's what this is. That's what this is. Okay. So this is the message that I was missing. So as long as the halves are separated, kept separate, they're like little parakeets, you know, and much of this is hidden away, hence the moon. It's all about hiding and shadow. Well, at this point, and notice how she's kind of looking off in the distance. At this point, it's assumed that both have reached an emotional and mental maturity that grants them the ability to enter into an owl phase, where they can tap back into the wisdom that they've collectively gathered. They've gathered this wisdom together through many lifetimes. And that's probably why this is such an intense soul connection between the two individuals. Again, this has nothing to do with romance. This has to do with soul work, the truth of soul work. Okay, 99% at 940. These numbers tell me 999 is the most elevated. Is the most elevated form of that God essence. And then when you put the 4 in there, that's about the self. This is about you allowing yourself to grow. This is not about you trying to convince yourself that you can't grow without this other individual. This is really a message for those who have closed themselves off from connection with another individual because for one reason or another, their ego has been wounded and it's blocked off the very connection that was necessary to grow in the ways that soul intended. So again, this is not about romance. This is about freeing yourself to grow in the way you were intended to grow. Now, we had the 999, 4 is the self, 0 is returning back to your point of origin. It's about you. There you go. It's about you coming back home to yourself. Okay? This is about you coming back home to yourself. So, hold on. So, we also have the star card. In reverse. So, I'll put it upright. Disappointment, pessimism, bad luck, lack of opportunity, stubbornness, imbalance. So it's really about correcting your own imbalance, no longer allowing yourself, see, and look at this, the birds again. So when you cut yourself off from the lessons that this is supposed to teach you, you stay in a parakeet stage, okay? Despite the fact that you come from an angelic lineage, you've confined yourself to a little tiny bird that I think parakeets are still very smart though. I think some of them you can teach to speak, or I might be making that up. Who knows? And then when you allow yourself to return to a more open state and allowing the transfer of information between you and this whatever counterpart, you then free yourself to fly with grace. Look at that. Look at and notice it's a pair. It's constantly a pair. This is the star card, and there's a pair of stork. So you have to make sure that you really keep in check your stubbornness, the imbalance, your choosing to deprive yourself of opportunity to grow, and just a lot of things. Let's see. Circumspection, precaution, economy, guarded advancement, desire to recover what is lost. So basically, this card popping up at the very end is an acknowledgement that, you know, maybe you do realize how you co-created this phase of separation. Maybe you do realize that, you know, it wasn't the best decision for you. Not the wrong decision in that you walked away from an amazing romantic potentiality. It's more of you walked away from your own growth. You didn't just turn your back on someone, you turned your back on yourself. And for those of us who would be like, well, they turned their back on me, they left me. Well, if what I'm sensing is right and they're really some sort of reflection of you, maybe their behavior, and this is not to try and find fault, but to help you grasp why things may have played out the way they did, okay? This is not absolute. This is a potential explanation to help you understand. But potentially, maybe their behavior is a reflection of an imbalance within yourself. You know, maybe they're reflecting that. I mean, their intention might not have been to reflect that and be so chivalrous and like, I'm going to help you learn. 100% at 9:45. That's 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. Ooh. The numbers jumped. It was it was 9 as well. 9 and then 9. So that, I think that's what's going on. What's going on is we're needing to really begin looking at the nitty-gritty, the really raw parts of our journey, where we, regardless of how much you think you've grown and how much you think you hold yourself accountable for, there really are still aspects of your spiritual growth that you don't really take full accountability yet. I'm part of this group too. All of us are. Okay, let's be really honest. All of us are part of that group that don't take full accountability for everything yet. Many of us have gotten to a point where we take accountability for a large portion of our lives, for most of the things that happen in our lives. And it's not that we're not willing to take accountability, it's that we're unaware of what areas. Because if something hurts really bad and you avoid it because of the pain associated with that hurt, which remember, this is what this card was talking about. If this is what we do, then that avoidance prevents us from fully exploring what part of that circumstance we need to take accountability for, right? So that's really all it is. That's really all it is. Maybe the counterpart section is an aspect within you. It doesn't always have to be someone outside of you. It doesn't always have to be someone outside of you. And maybe that's why it doesn't make sense because, and again, these are all just maybes. All just maybes, okay? There's nothing absolute about this reading or this information. But maybe you're not being able to acknowledge this aspect of yourself yet is what's caused you to remain unaware that that aspect needs to be observed, that maybe that part of you needs a little bit more assistance. You know what I mean? Because it's so easy for these readings to become nothing but external. That's what that person did to me. That's how that person failed me. That's how that person screwed up our path. No. Sometimes it's really all about something within us because we have both the masculine and the feminine. This looks both masculine and feminine, right? So it could be this is your more masculine side encouraging your feminine to rise up. Maybe you've lived in an environment where there was a lot of I don't know, passive aggressiveness or downright hostility, and the feminine aspects had to be subdued. And in your attempt to cope, to survive that type of early childhood, the masculine aspects were amplified, and that was the only way you could survive. And now the masculine is like, look, we're strong enough, we're grown, let's let the feminine rise again, let's create balance within ourselves. It totally can be in so many different ways that you can interpret this. That's why everything that I read, you have to look at it from so many different angles. You cannot continue to participate in the paradigm, this collaborative dreaming that confines this information to the simple boyfriend and girlfriend, boyfriend and boyfriend, girlfriend and girlfriend. You know what I mean? Oh, that's my twin. I don't even want to use that term anymore. I really, really don't. There is another being that exists, sometimes in human form, sometimes outside of human form, that assists me in my attempt to learn things that my human mind is not always willing to participate in. And that's kind of how I'm just going to leave it. You know, sometimes it's in human form, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it jumps bodies, sometimes it stays in one. But regardless, I know what its purpose in my life is: to help me grow in ways that I need to grow, to shine a light on the very aspects of myself that I haven't yet acknowledged for one reason or another. Maybe because I've been busy processing other traumas, that that particular trauma has been too painful for me to revisit. And their presence is like a wing over me, letting me know, we can do this. Go back to that spot. I'm going to trigger you. Because when you're triggered, you go back to that spot. Triggering is not, it's not really as we define it with pop culture, where, oh, you triggered me, that means you pissed me off, you offended me. It can be a part of it. It can be a component. But the truth of triggering is when something triggers a remembrance of a previous trauma and it takes you right back there. There have been studies that show that when someone is triggered, their brain produces the same hormonal and chemical makeup that was present during that trauma. I mean, that's just like, whoa, 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 you know? So maybe that's what this other essence is, nothing more than a trigger, to trigger you, to bring you back to those times that have been too painful for you to go back to as of yet. And don't worry, you'll build the courage. You'll build the courage to look those moments in the eyes, not shrink away and just really observe. Because at some point, you'll gain enough emotional and mental maturity to understand you freed yourself from that moment. You're no longer there. You're simply there as an observer. Notice how the light just got real bright. Boom. There you go. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me every single time I'm live. I'm going to be coming live to do more of the zodiac readings at some point today. If you're not already subscribed, you won't know when I go live, will you? That's why you have to subscribe. All right, guys, y'all know the freaking frequency. Come back and get more. Bye.